My name is Ethan Caldwell. I'm 53, a man who carved out his own slice of freedom on a plot of land I bought outright. No strings, no debts. I built my house with my own hands, every beam and nail a testament to my independence. It sits just beyond the edge of a manicured suburban sprawl called Willow Creek Estates, a place where the lawns are clipped to perfection and the mailboxes all match. That neighborhood is ruled by a homeowners association, the kind that measures grass with a ruler and fines you for a rogue garden gnome. But my land? It's not part of their domain. Never was, never will be. I've got the deeds to prove it, locked tight in a fireproof safe. Still, that didn't stop Monica Hargrove, the self-appointed empress of Willow Creek, from treating my home like it was her personal fiefdom. Monica wasn't just a nosy neighbor, she was the HOA president, a title she brandished like a scepter. With her sharp bob, perpetually pinched expression, and a clipboard that might as well have been welded to her hand, she patrolled the streets like a one-woman tribunal. She believed she was the guardian of Willow Creek's standards, as if her taste in siding could dictate the moral fabric of suburban America. It started small, as these things often do. Notes taped to my mailbox about aesthetic cohesion. Emails griping about my sleek, modern house, which she called an eyesore. Once, she left a typed letter on my truck's windshield, whining that my angular steel fence was disrupting community harmony. My trash cans, apparently, were the wrong shade of gray. The thing is, none of her rules applied to me. My property sits just outside Willow Creek's legal boundaries, a fact as clear as the ink on my title. I'm not bound by their bylaws, not subject to their fines or their petty decrees. But Monica didn't care about facts. She saw my independence as a personal affront, a crack in her perfect little empire. I ignored her at first, figuring she'd tire herself out and move on to harassing someone actually under her thumb. But Monica wasn't the type to let go. She'd scowl at my house during her daily power walks, scribbling notes, as if my roofline was a federal offense. She'd bring me up at HOA meetings, whispering to residents that I was a VY soul nuisance, or worse, a safety hazard. She even told people I was VY violating city codes, which was laughable. Me permits were spotless. Then she got bolder. She'd linger near my fence with a tape measure, snapping photos of my lawn like a private investigator. Once, she cornered a landscaper I'd hired, warning him about potential fines if he worked for me. I should have known she wouldn't stop there. Monica didn't respect boundaries not social, not legal, and definitely not physical. And one day, she crossed the line that mattered most, the threshold of my front door. It was a crisp morning, the kind where the air smells of dew and coffee, and the world feels like it's still stretching awake. I'd just returned from a dawn fishing trip at the lake, my tackle box in one hand, a thermos in the other. Everything seemed normal as I pulled into my driveway. The front door was locked, the yard undisturbed. But something felt wrong. As I climbed the porch steps, I noticed the side window by the sunroom wasn't fully closed. I'm meticulous about security. Every latch, every bolt is checked before I leave, even for a few hours. My pulse quickened. I set down my gear and crept toward the window. Then I heard it, the soft, deliberate creak of a drawer sliding open inside my house. My stomach lurched. I eased open the front door, moving like a shadow. The air was still, but there was movement, faint, purposeful. I pulled out my phone, hit record, and slipped it into my chest pocket with the camera peeking out. As I rounded the corner into the kitchen, I stopped dead. There was Monica Hargrove, standing in my kitchen like she owned it, rifling through my utensil drawer with white-gloved hands, as if she were dusting for fingerprints in some HOA crime scene. She didn't even jump when she saw me. She just looked up, straightened her spine, and blinked, like I'd interrupted her at a board meeting. "Monica," I said, my voice low, barely containing the fury clawing up my throat. "Have you lost your damn mind?" She met my gaze with a chilling, self-righteous calm. "Mr. Caldwell," she said, as if addressing a delinquent tenant, "I'm conducting a compliance inspection. We've had multiple complaints about your interior lighting, your decor style, and potential safety violations impacting property values. I stared, dumbfounded, not just by her audacity, but by the sheer delusion. You're in my house, I said, each word sharp enough to cut. You broke in. This is trespassing. You're not a cop, not an inspector. You have no right to be here. She didn't blink. Your property's proximity to Willow Creek places it within our sole sphere of influence, she said, like she was quoting a sacred text. That gives us authority to perform preliminary assessments. Visual sphere of influence. I almost laughed, but the anger was too raw. I knew arguing was pointless. She was too far gone, lost in her own warped reality. I had to play this smart, make every move airtight. I took a slow breath, forcing my fists to unclench. Stay there, I said, stepping back from the kitchen. Monica didn't budge, still poking through my forks like they held the denke of a zoning violation. I moved quickly but quietly down the hall, out of her sight. My house has sturdy oak doors, and I'd upgraded the locks myself. In the hallway closet, I grabbed the spare key to the kitchen door, one of the few rooms I could lock from the outside. Heart pounding, not with fear, but with focus, eyes slipped back toward the kitchen. Monica was muttering to herself, oblivious. In one fluid motion, I pulled the door shut. Saw click. Saw I turn the key, then grabbed a bar stool and wedged it under the handle for good measure. She was trapped. The banging started instantly. Ethan! Ethan! She shrieked, pounding like she was storming a fortress. This is illegal! You're insane! You'll be sued for unlawful detainment. This is kidnapping. I didn't respond. Instead, I dialed the sheriff's department, my voice steady as I explained. An intruder had broken into my home. I'd caught them on video, and they were secured until law enforcement arrived. The dispatcher's tone betrayed her shock, but she promised a unit was on the way. I set up a second phone on a tripod I used for DIY videos, hitting record again. Monica was still screaming, now claiming she was performing a CIVYC duty as HOA president. I sat in my recliner, facing the hallway where her voice ricocheted like a siren. For the camera, I spoke clearly. I'm not part of any HOA. This is private property, fully documented. The person in my kitchen broke in through a window and was caught rummaging through my belongings without permission. The sheriff is en route. She's being held safely, not harmed. That silenced her for a moment, but then the kicking and cursing resumed, laced with desperate pleas. It wasn't fear in her voice, it was disbelief. Monica wasn't used to consequences. 15 minutes later, red and blue lights flickered down my gravel drive. 2 cruisers pulled up, dust swirling in their wake. I met Sheriff Daniel Harper outside, a grizzled man in his late 50s with a no-nonsense mustache and eyes that had seen worse than HOA drama. She broke into your house? He asked, brow raised. I nodded, handing him a folder deeds title, proof my land was never part of Willow Creek. Caught her in my kitchen, digging through drawers. Said it was an HOA inspection. It's all on video. Harper skimmed the documents, gave a curt nod. Smart move. We walked inside, Monica's screams growing frantic as our boots hit the hardwood. Officers! I've been detained illegally, she wailed. Harper's voice cut through like a blade. Ma'am, step back from the door. Hands where we can see them. The scuffle of her heels retreated. He unlocked the door, and there she stood, arms crossed, face red but defiant, like she expected accommodation. I'm the president of Willow Creek HOA, she declared. I was investigating complaints about this property's non-compliance. Harper didn't flinch. You were in a private home without consent. That's trespassing, ma'am. These documents say this land's not yours to govern. You're in deep trouble. Monica's bravado cracked as Deputy Carter snapped handcuffs on her wrists. Her lips quivered, eyes darting to the windows where neighbors had gathered, phones out, capturing her fall. As she was led out, she shouted, You'll all pay for this! But no one cared. The court case was a slaughter. My videos, the sheriff's report, and my documents left no room for doubt. Monica pleaded not guilty, claiming she'd misread HOA boundaries, acting in good faith. But the prosecution tore her apart. They revealed a history of intimidation, unauthorized visits, fake fines, even a camera she'd hidden to spy on a neighbor's kitchen. Witness after witness exposed her reign of fear. The judge called her actions a gross violation of property rights and a dangerous abuse of false authority. She got 9 months probation, a DULA $25,000 fine, a 200-yard restraining order, and was stripped of her HOA title. Willow Creek sent a letter confirming my land's independence, complete with a map marked not HOA. After the trial, my home felt like mine again. I replaced the break-in window with a triple-locked, shatterproof model overkill, maybe, but it was about principle. I bolted a steel plaque beneath it. Yes, this is the window Monica broke into. Now she's in a different enclosed space with bars. My new welcome mat read: HOA rules don't apply here. Trespassers try time first the room, then jail. Neighbors loved it. Some brought beer, others pie, thanking me for standing up. Teens snapped selfies by the plaque, calling me a legend. The story went viral, clips of Monica's arrest trending under "When Monica Picks the Wrong House." A year later, Monica appeared at my gate, subdued, no clipboard. She apologized, admitting she'd let power blind her. I thanked her, then offered her a spot at my 4th of July barbecue. She didn't come, but that wasn't the point. Willow Creek changed. A new HOA president, a retired vet, prioritized respect over control. Fines were lifted, rules loosened. Neighbors waved now, their lawns free of Monica's shadow. My home stood tall, a quiet rebellion on the edge of their map, proof that boundaries matter and some lines you don't cross.